Welcome to another edition of the Triumvirate. Wow, I got that out of the way. So, welcome, guys. How's it going?
That's some Skinemax radio voice you got there.
If I put the microphone a little bit closer to my face.
Oh my god, that's great.
I don't know if I want to picture Chuck Norris getting so close to the mic.
Well, we saw your avatar of an eggplant in your mouth. So, I mean,
I cannot dispute that. You're not wrong.
So I don't know what you like to put in there, but yeah.
I'm a conflicted cat, so it's just yeah.
Dead mice, cat treats, eggplants,
Everything, anything that has
Florida
any
sauces. Bring forth
anything that has any remote innuendo, I'm into. Welcome, guys. Yeah, what do you want to talk about? You got the SPY chart here. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I think that they could send it either any way they want to because it's extended and it's also close to all-time highs. So if they wanted to pump it up first to tank it later, they could. If they wanted to tank it first just to pump it up later, they can do that too. So we're at a position now where I just don't trust the thing right here because it is kind of making lower highs over the past 3 weeks. So I just don't know. And it didn't really go higher than back here in December either. It just kind of flatlined. So that makes me believe that it's kind of like, if we go to the daily chart here, it's kind of like they're just teasing that they want to hold support. But I think maybe they're going to send it back to like the 590s or 80s or something to retest. That's what it kind of feels like to me. And with the QQQ2, it's doing kind of the same thing where it did already touch the bottom of the cloud, and it looks like they are making lower highs as well from basically back in December. So, yeah, I mean, until it starts making higher highs again, for the QQQ, that would be like 530s, right? Then I'm just going to be cautious until it can do that because there's no point in being over exuberant right now when the market looks like it is just doing nothing, right? It has to prove it wants to go higher and prove it wants to go lower. And right now it's not proving either way. It's just maintaining a zone, looking for direction. And with the IWM here, this one actually got back above the 226. I've been watching that a lot. So this one actually looks a little bit better than the other ones because they already sent it down pretty low, and now it's kind of reclaiming some of that. But at the same time, it's getting close to the daily resistance up here at the 230s. So again, I'm not too excited because they could easily go send it up to test resistance and then go back and retest support. So no matter which way you look at it, the market is just in a range and it's looking for direction. And I think it's just going to keep doing that until either resistance breaks or support breaks. So stay tuned.
That's very exciting, Matt. Thank you for.
Well, I mean, what else can you add to that? Like, do you see any certain direction it wants to go? I certainly can't.
It's I mean, I don't know if there's any certainty here. There are some things that are pointing that it may not be that bad. I do think that we already had like a lot of scares and sentiments are already pretty horrible, So
Yeah.
I don't know like how much further we have to go, whether or not it's going to go back and tap like the 580s or even like 570s for SPY. I'm either way directionally. I think cycle wise is still to the upside, and all these are a little bit of like an exhaustive move that just needed to correct through time or through price. And looks like so far we're correcting through time, but certainly we can correct a little bit further through price, and it still wouldn't necessarily mess up the overall cycle, if you will. So,
yeah, I could easily see like the daily 100 moving averages right there at 587. They could easily retest that if they wanted to. But yeah, I agree. It doesn't change the trajectory. It's going higher, but whether it needs to go lower first, that's still undecided.
Do you have like a higher time frame SPY or SPX chart to kind of look into, just to give maybe a little bit of a broader perspective, if you will?
Yeah, I do have the SPX here on my monthly And here it is, right? Here's my monthly again from the very beginning of time of the SPX back in, what is that? Yeah, the 1932s, right?
The
So we
dinosaur.
can, yeah, dinosaur. So yeah, we can see this angle right here is really the bull trend, right? This angle is the bull trend. And we are extended from it quite a bit. And you can see every time it gets extended from it, it goes back and touches it, extended, maybe goes a little bit deeper, extended, touches it. It didn't touch it here, but it is getting quite extended from that angle. So it just does make me a little bit cautious that it could come back down there anytime it wanted to in the weeks or months or years ahead to go touch it, right? I mean, maybe in the years ahead, it'll go back in 2028 and touch the 5,000, right? We don't even know. But the point is, it is month over month, it is extended. So, and you can see when you zoom in here for the SPX, month over month for the past 4 months, you can see the bodies of the candles. Basically, you could just draw a line across it and it's the same level. So it's not really going higher over the past 4 months. So this kind of implies that possibly things need to cool off a little bit before going higher.
Or keep that line on your chart and see if it can get above it.
Yeah, or get above it, yeah, or close a monthly candle above it. But so far, it just is stuck, and I think this kind of demonstrates that the SPX is stuck for the past 4 months. Stuck. So, yeah.
But you look back there and you can see where it crossed the horizontal line, got over it, tested back towards support, didn't even touch it, and then even went a few months there and had that August 5th wick down, and then back up again.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a horizontal scan line there that we just don't see. Except now we see it.
Now you see it right here.
Because you drew it.
Yeah, I mean,
4 months of candle tops.
If I did this too, we can see that it is also building a base on top of this 588, right? 580.80. Mm-hmm. So at the same time, it's not going higher, but it's also not going lower. So I think this 580.80 is actually a very good line in the sand to determine if things are going to break down or not, right? If things are going to go underneath it, then yeah, it might even go back down to the 1.414. But if it stays above 580.80, then that is the sign that I think the trend is going to continue higher.
Is there any clue that can kind of give you an idea whether or not things are going to keep getting overextended for a while, or, you know, anything you're looking at that might give you that clue, if you will?
I mean, no. I mean, the Bollinger Band has been underneath that for a while. So, but I think you probably have a clue, right?
Well, I don't have no clue about nothing. I mean,
I don't have no clue about nothing.
I think the only thing I would say is like IWM still hasn't really had its breakout, and it still looks like it wants to. So
Yeah.
whatever it's doing, I think there might be like a big rotation that's happening from large caps to the small caps that are kind of happening under the scene. Same thing with the ARK fund, like ARK. A lot of the Cathie Wood stocks actually been secretly doing very well. So there might be like some secret rotation that's going on. It doesn't necessarily mean the market's going to crash. You know, that's kind of what I would envision in terms of what's happening. It's just a little bit of rotation. So
yeah, and there might even be with the IWM getting back above the line. We can also see that this our Russell 2000 from the 1980s is still maintaining its angle, and it's not even extended above it at all. But it's kind of the same angle as the SPY, right? It's the angle, the trend angle throughout time, where no matter what, price gravitates back to it. And right now, it's basically right on it, which could mean maybe the SPY just flatlines for a while, and then boom, the Russell 2000s, small caps, crypto, and growth stocks just continue to surge, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget back in the late 2020 to like early 2020, there's like 8 months where NVDA did absolutely nothing, and small cap just kind of shot to the moon, and ARK fund just kind of shot to the moon. So I wonder there's going to be some kind of rotation there, because even like NVIDIA is at the 2.272 lock fit and all that. So I wonder whether or not it's just time for things to kind of rotate out a little bit and go into other things.
So is it going to be a cool summer for NVIDIA then? Is that what you're saying?
I don't. It's already
Like,
been a cool
gold.
year. Like, it's already done nothing for like 7 to 8 months, right? So I don't know how long that that's going to last, but it certainly looks like the trend is very exhausted. But anyway, I mean, even for NVIDIA, I mean, I can show that here real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, even for
Yeah, go
NVIDIA, there are some warning signs here too.
Well, yeah, it's getting below my GAN level, and I don't like that.
Yeah, and you can also pull up the Ichimoku too.
Yeah.
On the monthly, you can see how it's also underneath the conversion, right? So
That's the first time in years.
yeah, since 2022. So
Yeah, that's exactly 2 years, a little over.
right.
No.
I mean, granted, it's just the beginning of the month. This can all just turn out to be a wick, but it doesn't look promising. Could it have been a wick that's very similar to like March 2021? I don't know if you look back at March 2021, you did end up having a wick underneath the conversion. Not that, but do you have not a time on your chart, man?
Oh, I do. Sorry, I was looking at my other monitor.
Yeah. All right. So you have like the
Yeah.
wick down underneath, right? Could that be just like a wick underneath the conversion, and that's it? I don't know, because it is stuck underneath the
But
274 for a while.
it opened underneath it, and like, when was the last time it opened
Yeah.
underneath it? It was right here, and when it was right here, it was all over for months, right?
True. So what are we doing, man?
Well, I'm waiting for the month to end, personally, like you said, because it could open underneath it and then close above, and then who cares, right? But if it opens and closes below both of these levels, then I'll probably just maybe take a lot of profit off my table there.
Yeah, there are some warning signs the way that the month is opening, but
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I still think that it most likely still have a little bit of a leg up, but it's just needing to find support to break through 2.272, because usually 2.272 lock fib is a pretty hard level to push through. So yeah, I don't know. I'm watching this. I'm like, small caps looking great, large caps, NVIDIA is looking weak. I'm like, maybe just rotation. I don't know what you guys think. Even after hours, if you look at today, like SPY is down after hours, QQQ is down after hours, and then small cap IWM is up. So
well, I think we could take our cues from the SMH here for how semis are really going to do, and look at that. Look at this big rejection month over month of the green level up here, and now the angle was lost. And again, that angle was a resistance before, and a big resistance before right here.
yeah,
And now it's underneath. So I mean, taking my cues from the SMH, like, if this candle doesn't really close back above the angle by the end of the month, I think it's time to trim the positions of the semis. But maybe AMD not, because that one's reaching the bottom. So I think it's hard to say.
It is.
Yeah,
It's bottom fishing
AMD
right
is like
now.
bottom fishing, so I can talk about AMD because
let's do it. Yeah, let's talk about AMD.
yeah, it had earnings, and like, this one actually looks fine because it got rejected here, and it already is below all those indicators and the angle. And look, it's still above the blue GAN level, and the monthly cloud is right there. So I mean, maybe this will be the first one to bottom and the first one to recover, while the other ones just like NVIDIA and whatever cool down quite a bit. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I see it at 108. When I put on the 50-month moving average, that's what I'm really focusing on for the whole month, the 113.77. If price can close back above it by the end of February, then I think it doesn't really need to go back down there. But if it closes below it, then I think it might be headed towards the blue level and the top of the cloud in the mid to high 90s. So I think that could be the target for AMD now, but it's still not really that scary because this chart looks still very, very beautiful on the high time frame, with higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher low. Even down here in the 95, 98, still a higher low, right? So either way, this chart looks not too scary anymore the closer it gets to support.
I think if you also pull up the volume, that also tells you that the sellers are really, they're getting tired. They're not necessarily exhausted, because they're still selling, obviously, but they're getting tired. Like, you can see the last back in 2023 to the 5 candles, they're inside candles to the May of 2023. That was also on declining volume. And then the 2022 crash was happening towards the end is also on declining volume. I think the volume is really getting kind of exhausted here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So semis are a tricky one. So maybe either NVIDIA and SMH are pulling a fast one over our eyes by tanking things earlier on in the month, and then they're going to close out February really strong, or it's the beginning of a very long cool down period for them. So it's hard to say.
Well, from my analysis of Larry Williams' cycle analysis, he's calling for right now it's time for crypto and Tesla to go up, and then they'll peak in March, and then after, just as Tesla and crypto is peaking, that's when semiconductors and energy are going to cycle in. So yeah, this might just go sideways until
yeah. I mean,
March.
I can totally see that, especially with the SPY. It's not really doing anything. QQQ is kind of sideways too, but IWM it has a chance to be more bullish.
Yeah.
With crypto too, it has more chance to be bullish.
Yeah, I got a.
So
sorry, I got a AMD chart, and I'll shut up after that.
No, you can take as long as you need.
Yeah,
I'm not going to take that long.
This is our show.
I want to hear from Tracker too. You've been quiet, So I'm just gonna show here real quick. This is Tesla. I was eyeing this during the entire year of late 2023, 2024. You can see how this whole downtrend over here, and the dip keeps on dipping. Everybody was just like, "What the heck?" It just kept going down. It went down to the 160s, 150s. That's it, right? And then it flushed all the way down to like 140, right? I mean, I don't have to tell you, Tracker. You remember all this. Yeah.
Oh, I could draw it
exactly.
with my eyes closed.
So the thing about it is, the entire time it was going down, the volume is really telling us a different story. They're really telling us that whales are accumulating, that the big money are buying. The reason why is because the unbalanced volume has shown a pretty clear divergence. Unbalanced volume is just basically like the way that you subtract all these different volumes here based on whether or not they're green or red. If there's any divergence between price and unbalanced volume, that tells you that there's maybe some secret buying pressure here going on, and you can see that that works out extremely well for Tesla, right? But during the entire time it was going down, it just kept on having diversions. I was just kept on building. When was it going to end? And they ended with this big giant flush all the way down to all the way down to the 138.80, right? Like that's a pretty brutal crush down. I wonder AMD is doing the same thing. It looks like it's got like a little bit of deceleration here, but I wonder whether or not that was just a little bit of a smoke and mirror, whether or not they wanted like a final flush somewhere down here, around like 190 even. And it just got everybody really completely discouraged and get everybody really completely destroyed while they continue to just have these like secret buying pressure up here. I wonder if we're going to have that similar flush over AMD. That just hasn't happened yet. And that's just going to you have to get everybody like completely demoralized before it just keeps on going up like what Tesla did. So that's all I got.
Yeah, it's got to get nicknames like AMD Advanced Money Destroyer to catch on. Thanks, Wally Lee, for that. Nicholas asked, why is it the bottom divergences are bullish and top divergences are bearish? And go ahead. Yeah, you answer that.
Well, that's a very good question. I think it has to do with, it depends on what you're looking at. Looking at RSI, I think looking at momentum getting lost if it's divergence up top. But if you're looking at momentum from the bottom, is kind of like the momentum is kind of building up secretly. I think that's the way that I think about it. A lot of things, it's just like hard and fast rule. You can think about it. It's like a lot of these like academic things I used to think about, but I don't think about it anymore as long as it works. So that's kind of how I think about it.
But, one of the ideas is the price going down while volume is going down. The divergence there is that there are fewer and fewer people willing to sell at a lower price. So at some point, just nobody's selling anymore, and that's your bottom. And so when you see volume dropping as prices dropping, that's a bullish divergence that's telling you at some point nobody's going to sell anymore, and the price is going to start moving up.
But this is also unbalanced. Yeah, this is also unbalanced volume, right? Like you can tell whenever price is going down, whenever you have a buying volume, the volume is up, right? Whenever you have sell volume is down, right? You can tell that. Whenever you have buying, you have volume kind of going up, right? So there's some secret buying pressure here, and that's what the unbalanced volume is capturing. The same thing's happening for the most part here with AMD, where you have these like secret buying volume over here that is pushing unbalanced volume up. So and also, yeah, it's just whenever you have like a little bit of a sell volume, the price just drops down a lot. So it makes you kind of wonder, like, hey, are they just trying to manipulate price to accumulate shares, which is what looks like AMD has been doing for like the entire year. So it doesn't mean that it's not going to go down further. I mean, like Tesla, right? Like it kept on building up this big divergence, and that's why I'm saying price can keep going down on bullish divergence until you're insolvent. So just be careful. But I think it's good to wait for like a little like a final flush, kind of like what happened in Tesla. That really gives you a little bit more confidence in terms of what could be happening. So.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, take it off my screen. Somebody else show their screen. I don't care.
Somebody made a comment about somebody buying a lot of Tesla calls. Yeah, like 10 million in Tesla calls for May 2000 or for May at 700 strike.
Right.
So that's interesting.
Yeah,
should we do Tesla or?
Well, let's do crypto because I was going to say. Who was it? Somebody, some Dark Knight says, I just joined. Is crypto about to crash? And that was one of the things that we teased in the in the promo. So no, we don't think crypto is going to crash. Do we?
Yeah,
Matt?
that's true. Yeah, Matt, take us away, man. You don't
want to share your crypto?
I mean, I can, but I live not vicariously. I live vicariously for you. That was
Vicarious. That's got
Sorry, that was a little bit of Freudian slip. I was totally thinking about vicarious, and then it came out.
I'm sure you were. Yeah. I got to live vicarious through you guys. Sorry. Okay.
Excuse me, vicarious.
What is Bitcoin doing? Well, it's kind of doing what NVIDIA is doing, right? Like opening candles below the weekly conversion line there. But actually, that was NVIDIA's monthly conversion line, so it's not really the same. But anyways, what we can see is, yeah, that is resistance now. It's clearly, it went back up to also the 1.618 on linear scale. The 102 got rejected, and it's still getting rejected by this 99,260. So it closed below last week for kind of the first time in a while. And now it's just back in the same range it's been in for months, like 3 months, right? It's 91 is your support for the high time frame, your high time frame resistance, 102, 103. And so is it about to collapse? No, I think it's about to do a whole lot of nothing, right? It's going to maybe scare people again, maybe make people all euphoric again, scare people again, euphoric, whatever, until it breaks. So I think we're just in for some more weeks of boringness, maybe like what Tracker was saying, maybe by March, April or something, things can pick up again. But it just looks like no matter what the narrative is, like no matter who's on TV speaking about crypto, TA still matters. It just matters. And this is proof. Like, oh, they were all excited it's going to break because he's going to go on TV and talk about stuff. And what happened? It was to sell the news. And the reason why, it was just that resistance. So no matter what the event, I think the charts matter the most. So with that said,
the Larry Williams cycle he is predicting that actually crypto and Tesla would be going up starting in February and peaking in March, and then energy and semiconductors cycle up next. While crypto and Tesla start testing supports again. So, it is this last wick that we're looking at. Matt's chart is just 4 days old for the whole month. So let's see.
But it's no different than January or December or even November. It's no difference than that. So for anybody that's like panicking, this is like literally a sideways range for months. So it's nothing to panic at all.
And meanwhile, all the moving averages are coming up, underneath it. So there's that.
Yeah, they're coming up too. So, I mean, where is it going to stop? Could it go back down to the 90s again? Possibly, right? It is a possibility, but it's just a waiting game, really. And you got to have the patience to get the exponential gains in crypto. And I think what we're looking at with the altcoins too is just, it's kind of like the IWM, right? It's almost exactly like the IWM with the others chart here, how it's really battling this 786, right? The 786 is at 324, and it's like a little bit below, but I do have a 45-degree angle there that it's holding. And that's kind of like the Russell 2000, how it's basically on its angle, right? So maybe altcoins and the Russell 2000 will move together. So very identical things that I'm seeing with IWM, Russell 2000, and the others chart. So yeah, I mean, it's still a very bullish chart. Weekly, it's on top of the cloud, it's on top of the baseline, it's on top of the angle, and I'm basically at the 702. So I mean, does this look scary? No, it just looks like it's back testing support again and again and again. So this is something that is looking like it's going to break out sooner than later, and it's just going to take more time.
Kat, can you do your little? Kat had a really good video talking about how over the weekend that altcoins were just doing a liquidity grab, and Bitcoin itself didn't really. It like went down on very little volume. Is there a way you can do that like in 5 minutes or so?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can do that for another 50 minutes. No, it's just kidding. I mean, the whole thing is, if you want to zoom over to me.
Yeah, I'm very bi-curious on what you have to tell us.
Yeah, me too.
You're not bi-curious enough. Anyway, so I just so a few things here. I'm going to go through and try to just speed through. I actually think that the weekend liquidity grab, there was a very nice bullish candle here for the 2-day. For the weekly, it just looks like it's done nothing so far. But if you look at like the lower time frame, let's look at 2-day, right? Look at 2-day, you got a big giant, almost like a dragonfly candle here. It came back, grabbed liquidity here, right at the 2-day Ichimoku cloud. I see a very similar fractal. It almost looks like the Bitcoin cycle is going through these like really systematic moves. Whenever it has like a move up and it goes sideways here for about like 8 months or something like that, and then it goes up and it goes sideways for like maybe 3-4 months, something like that, and then push up and go sideways for like 8 or 9 months, and then comes push up. So I wonder whether or not we're at a very similar spot over here as we were over here, where we have like it's kind of like a light touch of the 2-day Ichimoku cloud, grab liquidity and just kind of push up. I don't know, right? Same thing here, right? It really looked like they just pushed all the way down here real quick, and just next thing is it just kind of pushed way up. I think every single time we have like these really scary capitulation event that really make the sentiment absolutely horrible, it just makes you wonder whether or not there's a chance for us to really break out of this range soon. I mean, right now I agree with Matt. We're stuck in a range. There's really nothing else to say, right? It's just stuck in range. What can I say? But also, if you look at a weekly here, look at bonus support band. I also wonder whether or not we're at a very similar stage over here as we were over here, rather than having to go sideways brutally for like 8 months like we did before here and there. I think these are actually very atypical for Bitcoin bull market. Usually, it doesn't do sideways for that long. Like that doesn't happen very often. So these kind of like sideways thing for like 8 months kind of thing is actually pretty unusual for Bitcoin. I think the whales are.
I bet they correspond to some of Matt's retracement fibs. If you look to the left, you don't have to, but I'll bet they would.
Yeah, I think they do. Like, to be honest, I think they probably do. And they just basically like you said, tagging one fit level to another and just bounce, while basically burning retail sentiment like crazy, which is just quite incredible to watch. I think this is probably going to be very, very similar to being over here. But anyway, Bitcoin didn't really crash that much anyway. What I think everybody's really kind of want to think about is like things like Ethereum. You have like this big giant wick down below. Are we just like, is Ethereum over? Whenever I pull this like bullish thing about Ethereum, I think people just get extremely bitter because they just don't think Ethereum is ever going to go up again. All I gotta say is over here is actually very like, to me, just thinking about like the cycle, thinking about where we are, thinking about sentiment, it's actually very, very similar. And this is not just me. I think a few other folks have also mentioned this too. This actually feels very similar to this liquidity grab over here during COVID, where things just like ran up real fast here. It didn't really quite make a higher high here, but it's just flushed all the way down to grab like the final liquidity, right? Actually, the whole Ethereum cycle is very interesting. If you're just kind of looking at how the Ethereum cycle had bottom over here, it actually outperformed Bitcoin in like November 2022. Bitcoin actually made a lower low here, whereas Ethereum actually made a higher low, right? So Ethereum actually, during this giant crash over here, made a higher low over here. Like actually, during last cycle, it also kind of outperformed Bitcoin here a little bit too.
That's right. We used to say that, we thought maybe Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin. Like
Yeah, it does this at the crash, and whenever it's done crashing, it outperforms Bitcoin here a little bit, it outperforms Bitcoin here a little bit, and then whenever it pumps, it just underperformed Bitcoin here for like severely for like over a year or so, right? These like by the time when it got to like November, Bitcoin's already made its all-time high, and Ethereum is still way underneath its previous all-time high. So I wonder whether or not this is like the flush the liquidity grab that we need to really get everybody demoralized before you end up having a big giant move up above. It just seems like it to me. A couple other things that get really fishy here too. Is all these things are following technicals pretty perfectly. Like it just touched the low Bollinger Band. Like that's exactly what I want to do here on the weekly, right? Kind of like it did during COVID. It just touched the low Bollinger Band here on the weekly, right? And a lot of crypto did the same thing. Like I think well, Doge didn't really quite do that, but I think like Shiba did. You know, like it just touched the low Bollinger Band. Like it just looks like it wanted to do that. A lot of like did Chainlink do that? No, it didn't. It just ended up like touching a lot. Anyway, they're just kind of going back to the support levels. Even though the sentiment is extremely horrible, even though Bitcoin dominance is like going way high, you know, like I think the Bitcoin dominance went up to like 64% sometime during like Sunday, and it was just absolutely insane. I was watching this going way up, like that way up out the upper Bollinger Band. You know, I was like, that's not sustainable. Sure enough, it got completely crushed down. Right now, you got a pretty bearish looking candle here. And then I'm going to say one more thing. I'm going to pass on to Mike.
I just want to say I love that post on the Bitcoin dominance that you did this weekend.
I mean, like, it just looks like there's a big exhaustion over there. Like, this is like what a blow up looks like, you know? It's just big giant bearish divergence here at RSI, and you know, just got everybody really scared about Bitcoin dominance just going way up, and then next thing you know, it doesn't. I can't say that it's topped, but I just say like, you know, I just say that it looks like, if anything, this is the first time it's really showing like a lot of weakness here. And I can't, you know, really.
Translation, that means that as Bitcoin dominance becomes weaker, the altcoins become stronger.
Right. I do think that at some point this crazy bull trend of Bitcoin dominance is going to end. I think money's going to rotate from Bitcoin to alts, just like the idea that I think the large caps is going to rotate to the small caps. You know, kind of very similar idea, and I think that really would be like a more risk-on sentiment if that ends up being happening at this part of the cycle. So one more thing, global liquidity. One more thing, global liquidity.
Yes, global liquidity, please.
You know how everybody was talking about how Bitcoin is going to crash because global liquidity is crashing, right? Yeah, well, it's going back up now, right? And the other thing here too, if I can find my rectangular thingy, there you go. That's my rectangular thingy. You can see like basically it's just got a resistance zone over here, just basically back testing the zone twice, right? It looks like it's bouncing. Sure, you're underneath resistance here, but looks like liquidity wants to keep going up. It kind of broke above this trend line here, if you will. So I think that with global liquidity rising, with it kind of breaking through like that, with doing a back test, this is actually bullish for the overall market. And it doesn't necessarily mean that NVIDIA is going to like, you know, go to the moon, but it can mean like there's going to be a lot of rotation happening too. Because I was going, okay, one more thing, then I'll pass on.
No, you're doing great. Please keep going.
I feel like I'm just like hoarding things here, but if you look at NVIDIA during the last cycle too, you see how whenever global liquidity just shot up to the moon, right? Over here, NVIDIA did nothing from August 2020 to like March or April 2021. It did absolutely nothing, right? For like 7 or 8 months straight. During this period of time, a lot of the risk on stuff like IWM, look at what it did like during that period of time, like August through March, like what the F, right? So I wonder whether or not something like that is going to happen. I don't necessarily think NVIDIA is going to crash. I think it might continue to show a little bit of weakness here, and it might be kind of building up for something like that. That's all. Passing on. Thank you, Rabbit. I love you too. Thank you for being here. All right, go for it. Nobody else wants to talk anymore. Tracker, you should talk about Tesla.
Yeah, you want to talk about Bitcoin, whatever you want to talk about, Tracker.
What do I want to do next? I don't know. You can show this Bitcoin chart, you know, for an 8-hour chart. This is where I've identified my wave 3 and my wave 4, and my large degree wave 5 is way up. No, that's not right. Yeah, that is right. 100%. 3, 4. It's supposed to be around here somewhere. I don't know what happened to it. But anyway, just, higher high, higher low, new all-time high, higher high, and then this run down to 91,000 over the weekend was just a higher low. So don't be afraid. And I've got this lovely Gann chart that I built, and you can kind of see how price. It's kind of funny. Every time I see a chart now, I just look for a place where it runs up, and it kind of goes down in this little curve. It's like, oh, I can see the Gann chart. I can literally just like draw it in my brain now, and then here it goes up, and then here's another Gann arc. So yeah, I'm just looking for this one to run up to this next arc, which is up here around 138,000. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for this to drop off, fall to this lower angle. It's looking up. It's looking up at this angle, which it really enjoyed. Touching here, and here. So it just wants to go to its home, like in Caddyshack. Just go to your home. It wants to go right here. 123,000 on April 20th this year. Anyway, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm looking for in Bitcoin. I know, right? Let me show. All right, someone was asking about MicroStrategy. This is MSTX. Let's get MSTR. My MSTR chart got busted up a little bit because now it went down to here from there. So here's your minor degree. So again, for anyone that isn't familiar with this already, I see all of this move to the all-time high for MicroStrategy as just a giant wave one. And then the higher low it made after that is just a big wave two. So I know there's a bunch of stuff in here, but here's my wave 3 sub 1, wave 3 sub 2. So, I'm still looking for 615, move this to the back, 615.53 for my wave 1, wave 3 sub 1 top, and then back to 411, and then back to 946. And none of these move, none of these change, so long as we don't make a new lower low than 285. And we haven't done that. And then so here's my attempt to make a sub wave of this first wave, and that's where these things come in. So this being my 1, 2 now to right here, but I'm just pulling it out so I can kind of see lines on the right. Looks like I have to move this to 764. This has to go down here. 764. 382, 1382, 100%, 2382. Get out of the way. Almost lines up. It's supposed to go to 619, whereas this one's 615. And it looked so perfect for a little bit there until we got this little bump here where it just kind of starts over again. So, this is just a MicroStrategy is like the Bitcoin and everything else. Is just kind of going sideways for a little bit. It's just a little bit laggy getting off the ground here, but once it gets going, I think it's going to be really incredible. And yeah, we'll see new higher highs, much, much higher highs. Here's 946, and then up to 1480 for MicroStrategy, which of course is even greater when we look at MSTX. But we'll stay out of that zone for now.
So you see
Tesla.
You see Bitcoin go much higher too, then, huh? I mean, that's got to be.
Oh yeah, my Bitcoin chart goes to 178,222, and then we get an ABC down and a little bit of consolidation.
Yeah.
But if it follows this chart, it really wants to get up here to this like 187-ish. I don't know. Maybe this will go higher.
Yeah.
I've just got it stuck at my 238.2% extension, but if it could get to like 261 or 250, they could get to 196, 187, and then just follow this down here for a while.
Mm.
Maybe back to the 150s before. the next one, which it goes to the 200,000s and such.
Nice. All right, now you can talk about Tesla. I think you were cheating on us, and you were having some kind of interview with somebody else.
Well, I was cheating. I just want Peggy's a big. I'm a big fan of Peggy's. Yeah, Curious Peggy, and so you guys have seen this chart before. This is from. This is attributed originally to a guy named David Lee, not David Lee Roth, but David Lee, where he sees Tesla's. First they make their money on EVs, but then while EVs are growing, they're building their full self-driving and robotaxi business. And then over time, it's subducted by energy, and then it comes to the forefront, and that becomes like their big driver. And then after that, it's AI and robots, and after that, I don't know, who knows?
It's like a giant tsunami.
I took out Matt's chart. It is. It's just they call this S curve because just as EVs start to plateau, you've got full self-driving and robotaxi building up, and then just as that plateaus, energy's coming up, and then so on and forth and so on. And so I took Matt's chart and I asked him retroactively if it was okay if I used it. And he said yes. And I told Paigey yes. And then so we used it for the show. But this is Matt's long-term, or this is one he's got on his charts anyway. So, and oops, don't move that. Lock that in. So here, you can see Tesla where it spent a lot of time around what was like $16 or whatever, adjusted for splits and stuff. And this is when it was just being valued as a car company. And then now we're just seeing Tesla beginning to become valued. And then it became from an auto company to the world's most successful auto company, right? And so now we're in the range where we're just seeing that, oh, wait, this might become a full self-driving robotaxi company. And then that could take it up to the next GAN line, this next GAN horizontal line, which is up here at 5,000. And then energy, just as full robotaxi kind of starts to plateau out, you've got the energy story coming in, and that takes it up to the next line here. I guess what I should say is maybe this is auto. Here's full self-driving. Here's energy at 5,000. And then, once we get up here, and Optimus, and they're pumping out, billions of these Optimi every year, and they're making what he said. They did the numbers; it was really crazy. Something like $10 trillion of revenue annually just on Optimus alone, and so that takes it to like an $80,000 a share company. And then who knows after that? I said Tesla Habitats, something like, maybe Tesla will go on to build. The Martian habitats or whatever, like sort of a pre-built kind of thing, some sort of biome that you can take with you wherever. I don't know what this is actually going to be. It's really just a question mark. Tesla Habitats was an idea, but something, I don't know, maybe electric airplanes or something.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's just, they're the preeminent engineering company in the world. Every time there's something else that they want to do, they just figure out how to do it. And then, it just builds on, it's the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So Tesla to infinity, into a future where money doesn't matter anymore because the robots provide everything for us for free. And the sun provides all the energy.
I do worry that they might become like Apple, where Elon's no longer there or in control of the company, and then some business CEO just kind of takes over, and just try to make money out of it. That's what I would worry about that a little bit.
Oh, I know,
like Tim Cook books the company.
Maybe because he'll have the Neuralink brain-computer interface going, and he's training AI. We'll have a virtual Elon, and virtual Elon can just take us out into the future. And not just one virtual Elon. Once you've got one Elon copied, you can have multiple instances of Elon's mind is AI, in perpetuity throughout the universe. There you go. There's a preview what Paigey's going to release tomorrow. It'll be free for everybody on YouTube. And there's the part that I blew everyone's mind with.
Is he bi-period?
I don't know. He's from Canada.
That was totally not the question. Anyway,
Oh,
but he's curious.
I
That's
don't
good.
know. He is curious, Paige. Yes, that he's absolutely,
Yeah, he's
absolutely curious, Paige.
Yes.
I
Just
don't
don't
know. I
know his.
clicked on that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. No, thank you for sharing. What do you think about the price action recently, though, Tracker?
Recently for Tesla, it's in this. I'm tracking this larger triangle here, where it hit that new all-time high of 488.54, and then went back down there to test support um, above what. This is kind of interesting. I decided to try to run these fibs, and it seems like it's working pretty well so far. A psychological level, there wasn't really a time when Tesla hit $100. It hit a 101.80, and there isn't really a time when Tesla hit $400. But $400 is like that level we're all thinking about when we say 412.50. So I actually did some fib retracements here from $100 to $400. So calling this 0 to 100%. And look, the 127.2% was 481.60, which is just a few dollars away from the 488.54 that we actually hit. And so let's see, we are in this zone where it ran down for support testing. It didn't get to the 886, but neither could it get much higher. It couldn't really get all the way back to the 127.2. So look, we did get this wick right here, this one right there on January 29th. It hit that 88.6% fib, 365.80. And if I do this, that was 365 exactly, is the low that we struck in that crazy wick down. Yeah, and since then we still haven't made a new higher high, but neither have we made a lower low. So we're still in this triangle, and I'm just looking for. In fact, this is the original triangle from this price to this price, and see how price just got over it a little bit. It was teasing higher. It tried to look like a breakout to get people to buy it, and then it runs it back down here to a higher low. I don't think we're going to hit the bottom again. I think it's done. I think after this fake out and this fake out, it's done, and now we can go up higher. So I am looking for this month of February to take us out of this triangle finally and head on towards my, where are my fibs? These are the fibs? Those aren't the fibs. Oh, this is also retracement. I don't know where my fibs are. They're just, oh, it's on the 1 hour chart. So yeah, I'm looking for the 764 here at 480 next, then back to the 382 at 426.65. And what I was kind of doing was I was kind of comparing my fib extensions to these fib retracements from that 365 low back to the 488.50 high, your high. And yeah, 476.46 is exactly where the 88.6 is of that, which is very close to this 480.26. So anyway, so I kind of drew these subwaves, and yeah, this is the one that goes to 711 by July 14th. Well, I keep saying July 18th. It's Monday, July 14th. This is a weekly chart, so I can't show you the 18th, but that's like the Wednesday or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I just think going back to let's go to the 8 hour chart. Yeah, I think the breakout is imminent. That's what I've got right here. Breakout imminent. I'm just looking for it to. It looks like there's a potential for. I thought here we get an island reversal to the upside, but it actually went back and filled that gap really fast. But here's a gap that hasn't been filled yet, so this does kind of like an island bottom that we could gap over and go up. So I don't know. That's what I'm looking. That's what I'm looking at. I don't think we're going to get another lower low. Oh, wait, what did I just move? That's fine. No, this is a note that I published just to everybody this morning. If this level was to break, if we did get a lower low than this, this 365.80 or 365, then yeah, look forward to touch this 786. Matt's 786 right here, the magic number at 335.80. But I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. But yeah, there
Are
you go.
you
If it
in
breaks below there,
are you in TSLL right now?
I am. I've been accumulating it again down here.
Down at the
And if it
range?
does
Yeah,
run
makes
down,
sense.
if it goes down here, sure, I'll just buy more. I'm not going to worry.
Yeah.
It's not going back to the Stone Age
Yeah.
or anything.
No. I mean, I think it's like 350,
You know what? I think
340s.
a lot of people, some people with the charts, they just keep looking at this gap, and they think that gap's going to get filled. I don't think it's going to get filled. That one's done. I want to say there's a gap.
Yeah.
It's just, price is trying to get somewhere fast. It left a gap behind. If you actually go to that pre-market and after hours, you can see all the price action that actually does take place there. It's not like an 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 4 a.m. gap. There's actually price action through there. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with Tesla now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Not all gaps get filled. Just like there's not always someone for everybody. Like there's some you're just gonna end up being alone, and there's some gaps that are just not gonna get filled. That's the reality of life. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Guess what I've been talking, based on what I've been talking about with what's his name, the cycle guy, that maybe this will be like March-ish when this wave 3 sub 1 hits, and then April, May low for the wave 3 sub 2, and then this is like, I don't know, it's got to go faster than that. Never mind, I'm putting all the stuff back. No, I think I pretty much had it. I wanted to see this hit sooner because I want to see it hit a low. No, that's right. No, that's wrong. I don't know. Never mind. Talk about something else. I still want to see 7-Eleven. I want to see 7-Eleven by July, and it's supposed to go like low in maybe it gets high in June, low late in July, and then high later in July. And this is like the April-May dip, something like that. I don't know. I guess this is going to melt up towards the end here. So like from here right through this, like that. That-ish.
Yeah.
So, again, long wave 2, short wave 4, and then a melt up to the top, and then it can correct down here into October. This should be like an October 31st low. Again, it'll be a higher low for Tesla, and then if we really do get the 7-Eleven, 77, this is another thing that I blew Pagey's mind with in that interview. If we do get 7-Eleven 27 by July, well, there's a very good chance that we'll see 1,000 by the end of the year. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
No, it's very nice. Yeah. There's a reason why those gaps that never got filled called runaway gaps. It's just like the last man on earth kind. It's the same concept. So there's just some people that are just never meant to be with anybody.
Is that a new karaoke song coming? Like runaway gaps, like runaway trains, runaway gaps, never.
Oh my God,
There's so many ideas that I haven't executed yet, but yeah. No, thank you, Tracker, for sharing this chart. I think it's.
Sure, you're
the
welcome.
question is always, is it going to break down or not? Like, they can always do some diabolical thing and, like, go down and grab liquidity, but it's always good to have a plan, because none of these are, like, absolutes.
I didn't even show the volume. Here, look, it's slightly declining volume on lowering prices.
It makes an island more likely to happen, potentially. It's just hard to know what the market makers are thinking, but it makes an island more likely. Yeah.
And again, the island, for those who are just tuning in, it's these bars are floating all by themselves because there's a price gap right here. Oh no, right here. And so I'm highlighting that gap. There's like a gap behind the gap. And so there's just floating. It's like a floating monster island there, and it can gap up again, back over it, and never look back.
Yeah.
Island bottom. Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. What else are we talking about? There's after Optimus will be adult toys, says Dan Corral.
Yeah, when it gets to 700, they're going to start selling adult toys.
Oh, adult toy! Oh my gosh, Tesla toys.
I thought cars are adult toys, but I don't know what he's thinking about. But
Wow. Okay. Should we do the? Is it time for requests?
There are a few.
I see
There are
the
a
very
couple.
first
There are a
request.
couple. I mean, I think we should look at Palantir. We should look at Enphase and PayPal, and then we can just open up the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah, and I think
Let's
just
do it.
briefly with my Tesla chart, there's really no change with it too. The 786, or sorry, the 886, that's really the support zone that is holding. And yeah, just like everything else, guys, it's stuck in a range, But it is back above that 390 I mentioned right here, which is the trend-based fib. So that's the level to watch for the whole week, because when you look at the weekly chart, it has never closed a weekly candle below it since it broke out. So that's why I'm watching it. That 390, really important. That's it. And nothing else matters to me. And if it closes above, great. Still in a range. If it closes below, I'll be a little bit more cautious that maybe that 378 might break. So with that said, should we just look at Palantir and be like, oh yeah, it broke out?
Yeah. Palantir.
Yawn.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's look at Palantir, and it broke out. Okay, done.
Actually, it's right at resistance, right, Matt?
Yeah, it's right at resistance. So caution, guys. Caution. Don't be too greedy, because it could retrace easily before breaking higher. But yeah, I mean, I think it's at least going to get to the 157 up here, but in time. But the thing that I'm really curious about is this log scale Gann chart for Palantir that I have on my screen. Let me get rid of that volume. I don't like the volume. It broke out of the arc, right? So it broke out of the arc, and this bottom arc held support. And I remember on X, I shared this to one of Kat's posts before, that maybe it's not going to go lower because the arc is support. And sure enough, it held. So now we have the angle above. That's going to be some resistance if it gets there, maybe around the 113s, I don't know, like, yeah, maybe 110s, 113s. But maybe since it flipped this level to support, perhaps the green level becomes possible now, which is what, 276, 278. So I'm just saying, there's a possibility for Palantir to go beyond 200, which is beyond all of our wildest dreams, right? So let's see. Minimum maybe 157, maybe a maximum up here, possibly not. Well, maybe not maximum. It could go higher, maybe around 300, right? We'll see.
Man, it was like yesterday. The stock was $9. I can still remember it.
I remember like yesterday when it was $63, and people were like, "Nah, I'm not buying. It's going lower." And nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not buying. It's going higher. I'm just not buying because I already bought.
Yeah, this is boring. It's going higher. But yeah, you
Yeah.
must be super bored right now. Okay.
With Palantir, yeah, I think I'm done posting about it. I mean, I think at this point, the trend is very bullish. I think the last time I saw such a bullish trend was like Bitcoin in 2015, 2017, and already like shown the charts. I'm not going to do it again. I think it's just go crazy. If you're talking about the 1.618 log fib, then it's like 157. You're talking about like the 2.272 log fib, it's like 593. And I'm not saying that it's going to get there, but I'm just saying that like the sentiment is certainly from retail anyway, not from Jim Cramer, but I wish he would shut up. But
he was right about Palantir, though. He was right about it for once.
He of course he is. Like he gets about 40% right at a time, right? Just because he says something. It's just
40%,
like,
man, that's generous.
Yeah, it's just like you go out there and like some guy that you really dislike like happens to scream something. Next thing you know, it happens. Like it happens. It's fine. But yeah, I haven't seen anything as bullish as I have since like the Bitcoin 2015 2017 fractal. Like it looks like it could go a lot higher. I think we'll see. Right now it's a resistance, but I'm not. I think anybody who's going to buy here might end up having some short-term pain, but maybe still some long-term gain. But
I was going to say, because even this orange level where it was a resistance, it did end up backtesting it eventually, like months later after it broke out. So if it did that months later, I mean, that's back down to 76, 77, and then people would panic, right? But it could backtest it before it wants to break out again, right? We don't know.
It's such a parabolic bull trend. If it backtests, it's probably going to happen within like a month or two. Like it's going to
just like it did here. Yeah.
It's like a flush. Like, yeah, it's going to be a flush down. It's not going to take that long, and it's going to get everybody scared. That's what happened with like the Bitcoin 2015, 2017 cycle. You can have these crazy 20, 30, 40% move within like a week or two, and it's still bullish. Yeah, I'm not going to bet against it. So.
Well, just like XRP, like $3 to 170, boom, and it's still really bullish.
It's insane. Yeah, that thing's going to go higher.
Yeah, that's actually like even more of a reason to go higher right there for XRP.
Because she went down and grabbed liquidity on like a low volume weekend, and it's like a perfect setup for it to go higher. Anyway, I'm not saying that it will. Nobody knows the future, but it's just like a good setup for it. You want to talk about PayPal, man?
Yeah, PYPL. Let's take a look at this. So,
and while you're bringing that up, I just want to mention that Larry Williams says that PayPal is an excellent way to get exposure to the growing India market.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Well, this move right now kind of reminds me of last earnings where it did the same exact thing, and then the following week it took off, right? So it's a back test again, just like last earnings. It went down to the 77.15, and guess where it's going right now? 77.15. So it's a double tap of a previous resistance, breakout, back test, double tap, boom, boom, bam. And I think it has a good chance of holding. So this is this is looking really good, I think, for the inevitable continuation higher. So yeah, I'm not too concerned about PayPal at all. It just got a little bit extended up here. We can even put on the Ichimoku, and it's getting down towards the baseline too, 78.47. So it is a little bit below it for the week, but I have a feeling that it might even just close back above by Friday. So I think it's fine. It just got really extended from the cloud. Just like anything, if it gets extended, it can be a lot more volatile because it has the range to do it, right? If it's overextended, then it can make people panic. But in reality, it's just going back to support. So
I was calling,
and since your 382 is at $100, it makes the math really easy. That's a 23% gain from where it is right now, back to the $100 range there.
I was calling this morning that there's going to be a touch of the weekly lower Bollinger Band, since it broke down underneath like the 20-week moving average. If you want to pull up the weekly Bollinger Band here, I'm going to make it do the work. Yeah, it's not that far away from it.
Ooh, 75. Yeah. Maybe get down there tomorrow, and then maybe just by Friday close back above that baseline around 78, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Look, it just looks like it's been respecting the lower Bollinger Band throughout the entire downtrend uptrend. Right if it breaks down the midline here, it usually just goes to a low Bollinger Band. So I think it's probably where it's going to gravitate to.
Yeah, but what about NVIDIA, where it's underneath the weekly Bollinger Band? Doesn't that scare you?
I mean, I actually feel like that's a spring. It shouldn't be there. Whatever
it shouldn't be there.
Yeah, it shouldn't be there. Whenever it's doing down there, it's like, come on, it's just defying physics there a little bit. So I don't know. Yeah.
It's exploring its bi-curious.
I wouldn't call it exploring. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll just show that real quick, just so people can get a visual of what I was talking about. NVIDIA. See, it's never really done that before. It opened a candle and it's being as resistance right now. It's just really, really strange. And has it done that in the past at all?
Island reversal?
No, it's like never opened one underneath. And it's even here it didn't open. Here it opened underneath. Oh yeah, here's an example right here.
Yeah,
it opened underneath.
Unusual.
Yeah, but it went higher immediately after. So if that's any relation, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's also early bull trend too, so it's hard to say. Now we are at a little bit of a late bull trend, so who knows what that candle means? But it's just a little unusual.
Yeah, this is strange.
Look, those candles are floating in space.
Like where is it? It's outside. It's like floating. It's doing a moonwalk at the space station.
Yeah, look at what happened to the other side too, like on the upper Bollinger Band, just like to the left of the chart. Yeah, right there. I think it's like a very, very similar kind of thing. It's just getting stretched a little bit too far to the other side. But anyway, I don't know anything. So.
Yeah, symmetry.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do another one, ENPH, since they had earnings. And do I care about this? Even if it goes back up to, I drew a line, this black line. I'm going to get rid of my Bollinger Band here because that doesn't help me at all. But yeah, all it did after hours is go right back up to this $73 zone and got rejected right after hours. This is a previous support obviously flipped to resistance. You can see here, and it even touched the arc too. So I still think it never touched the bottom arc. I still think that it's going there. I think it's still going to go down to the 55s, and then that will be one last lower low, and then that will be the bottom, and then that will be the time to be back into end phase for enjoying the rally. But I think it's just got too much resistance right here. It's got the angle, it's got the previous support flip to resistance, and it's got the arc up here, just too much. And if you even put on the Ichimoku too, we can see that there's also this conversion line that's kind of getting in the way at 68. And I think after hours, what did it end up at? Well, let me just see on Robinhood what it's at right now. It's at 70.65 right now, so it's a little bit above, right, on Robinhood. So it's like right here. 70.65 is still below this angle. So that is still kind of proof that it's going to get rejected most likely this week and maybe roll over one more time. So I'm not convinced it's ready just yet.
Look at the monthly lower bowl in Japan. I'm gonna make you work tonight.
Work. Oh, I'm gonna get demonetized. God damn it.
Look at that.
Wow, it's at the arc exactly. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean it's a different time frame, but it fits. So it might have another tap there. It's possible.
Yeah, so that did line up to what I just said, $55, right?
Yeah.
So boomtown. There we go.
So this is one of the falling knives that I am still like buying very slowly. I'm talking about like 2 shares a week, like very, very slowly. And I started buying right around like the high 50s. So I don't care if it like goes down. I'm probably going to keep buying it. It's going to be dead money for like 6 months to a year. And that's like the kind of chart that I might be interested. I'm not buying any other falling knives right now.
Well, Larry Williams says energy is going to be the second half of the year, right?
Yeah.
Right, Jacker?
Yeah. This is like the dead money that I'm going to buy for like 6 months. If it lasts longer, I keep buying, but it's very, very slowly. So
yeah. But everybody has my blessing at $55. You have my blessing, guys.
Thank you. That's weird, but thank you.
Yes, you're welcome, Kat. Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I for D City here, I've got BlackBerry.
Ooh, yeah.
This is black, but it's at a 52-week high.
Oh yeah, probably. It doesn't take much.
Really? Oh my god, it doesn't. Look at this. Been hanging out here for so long down here. Well, I had to get out the linear fibs for this, and I'm just looking at this this chart right here with it's your typical retrace. So from $2.01 back to its previous high of 28.77. Not even its all-time high. That's just like the last like peaky blow off top before it like really did the thing in the bed that doesn't get us demonetized if I don't say it. So yeah, I'm looking for it to come up here, fight with the 23.6 fib retracement at $8.33, and then kind of bang up under it, and then finally get over it, and that can go to the 382 at 12.23. So as far as BlackBerry goes, I think it's going to keep, you'll see it kind of gravitate towards 833. Then it'll get over 12.23, come back to 833 as support, and then on up to 18.55. So I like it. I keep thinking I'll buy some just for old time's sake. That's a 295% increase if it gets to 18.55. If it just tests this 26.3 and fails, that's still an 80% move higher from where it is now. So yeah, I like it, BlackBerry. And you can see the institutions like it too for the last bunch of weeks here, the last, I don't know, half dozen weeks or so, they've been buying into it. 75% institutions and less than 10% retail is super bullish for BlackBerry.
Obama would have been proud. Where do you think?
I know, right?
Where do you think the strong resistance is at? I'm thinking about like maybe 550, maybe somewhere around there. It's going to be like pretty strong resistance there as well.
Yeah, exactly. You can.
Yeah.
I think it's 555 to be exact.
You could draw your
.236
box, around here, right around all this price action that came right through the range that Kat's talking about. So between 462 and 576, but once it gets through that, Like I said, it should gravitate towards 833, flip it to support, get over it, bang, and then keep going. So, BlackBerry.
Remember when we all had Blackberries and then the iPhone came out? Like, nobody's gonna use that. It doesn't have a keyboard.
There's no tactile feedback.
Yeah, but they were wrong.
It's weird.
BlackBerry was wrong. They are the blockbuster of phones.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like Kia.
They're the 8-track of cassette tapes.
Yeah, they're like Kia, and then I think iPhone was like Tesla. But oh well, those were the days.
Well, speaking of energy stocks, here's EOS. I talked about this morning in our regular morning show. Let's see. Yeah, I'm still just looking for it to get up here to 888. And then, so that finishes it's in a 5-wave cycle right now. It finished its wave 4 and kind of made it a little longer. I don't know if it's going to keep making it longer because the wave 2, it's relatively short. So this wave 4 might extend for a little while. But then after March, hit our 888 target. Then it has an ABC retrace, and then the whole thing builds up again. So this becomes your larger degree wave 1, wave 2 for the retrace completion, and it just goes bigger. This one goes to like 22, I think. Well, $20 for this one. So there you go. EOS has a bright future ahead of it. Just look to take some profit, maybe after March, maybe in April or so for 888.
Yeah, it ain't half bad. It ain't half bad. It's pretty decent.
If any of y'all want to talk about any of these stocks, just jump in. Otherwise, I'll kind of go to the next one.
Well, I mean, if you want to take a look at some of the requests here on the side, somebody asked about like.
Sure, that's what these are. These are the requests.
Oh, okay. These nuts, huh? Yeah.
Yep, these nuts. Have you heard of Imagine Dragons?
What?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Imagine Dragon these nuts. Yeah, across your face.
Oh, imagine dragging these nuts across your face.
I saw that on TikTok earlier. It made me laugh.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. There's your Imagine Dragons.
And we just went back to elementary school. Yeah. Amazing.
So DXYZ, I was expecting it to go higher, and it kind of stopped its wave 5 short, and then gave us this ABC. So now I've retroactively made that wave 5 top, and this the wave C bottom. So I think all of this is a wave 1 top and a wave 2 bottom, and that's what these extension fibs are on the right. Meaning I'm looking for 618236 flavor this time. So 618, so $80, back to $60, up to $111 to $87, and then wave 5 up to $161.73. Because that's kind of the flavor that I got back here was this 236 flavor, and it kind of matches up, I think, with Matt's fib somewhat. Yeah, right here where it just kind of just barely gets over the earlier price. It's more like the 618 than it is like the 764. Some of these I'll do this wave extension, and the 764 matches up perfectly with either the 141 or the 127.20, and I say, oh, well, it's going to the 764. But no, in this case, it feels much more 6180. So there you go, DXYZ. Just I think, so far it's only made higher high, ABC down with a higher low. Made another higher high, looked like really exciting. We all got excited right here, right? And then it fell over again. But it still made a higher low. This right here, this low is higher than that low. So look for it to complete the triangle, bouncing up to the upside, and 79, 78 next. I think DXYZ is like my 3rd or 4th largest position right now in my portfolio. I'm looking forward to this.
Man, those nuts are huge.
Oh yeah, and Kat taught me how to look for katanas, and there's a katana right here on the weekly chart.
Yeah, it's breaking
and
out.
Here's where
Consolidating.
the katana is starting to expand.
Yeah. consolidating and with.
So there you go.
Well, I saw a
I
request
learned something
for,
from a magical cat.
I saw a request for XRP.
Ignore it.
Oh yes, show us XRP.
Well, they said AAVE and XRP, so I'll do AAVE first. And yeah, so we can see. Here's my AAVE chart, and it got rejected by this 786 up here, and it was a clear rejection for a couple of months, and then price came back down to the ARC and bounced right off the 618 as well. So it's just also in a range, right? We can even add the Ichimoku cloud to it just to see where that's at, and it's also the baseline right here too. So with that said, this is just a normal back test so far, and I think it has potential to hold this 239.57 as your support, and then continue its journey back higher and higher.
Yeah, my tracker eyes say that's a wave 4 bottom. So
yeah,
it's got a wave 5 melt up coming ahead.
Yeah, this wick is very, very beautiful. So those wicks are great for slingshot engaged.
It's happening across crypto. Like pretty much all the altcoin, they all have that very nice hammer bottom there, and so let's see if they work out.
The hammer bottoms. I mean, those hammer bottoms better work out, or they're not going to be very nice bottoms, right?
And some people still want it, probably.
Anyways,
I'm bottom.
Well, that was fun. So let's take a look at XRP, and it's maintaining the 886. So no matter what happened on log scale, it was just a back test, right? A deep back test. And not only that, it was one of the best kind of back tests you could get too, because it even wicked through the monthly Ichimoku baseline and conversion line all in one swoop. Whoosh, was whooshed right down through it.
Yeah, look at that.
Touched it. Didn't think that was going to be even possible that quickly. And sure enough, within hours, it just did it. And that was incredible. So I don't think it really needs to go back there. I think this 225 really has a good chance of holding as support. And also, when it comes to the linear scale fib, I'm really watching that closely now too, because it keeps getting rejected there now. And that is the linear scale 786, right? It keeps on, let me put on the weekly chart to show it better. It keeps getting rejected now. Like it closed the week back below and then it wicked above and now it's getting rejected. So that's your range, really. The 225, 236, all the way up to the 260s. So that's the range it might be in for some time before it really wants to explode higher again. So that's what I'm watching for XRP, but extremely bullish setup still. Extremely bullish. I am more than excited for the future because I still see the potential, even in maybe a few months, of getting up to these levels up here, right? To at least maybe the 1.272. I can still see that.
Yeah. After that drive-by candle.
Yeah. I mean, that candle, that wick just makes me even more bullish. I'm sure Kat feels the same way about that.
Yeah, it's kind of,
I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of like Trump surviving that assassination attempt. That's what it feels like.
And putting his fist in the air, that's what this is.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. So whether or not you're political or not, but it's just got that feel to it.
But it feels like it's going to be victory for a lot of the altcoins this year. Yeah. But just maybe not in February. We'll see. We'll see if later on in February things can pick up. But right now, literally everything is in a range. Everything. Except for Palantir. But it's at resistance.
If you tilt your head sideways, it's kind of stuck in a range. But yeah.
That's true. Yeah, for Palantir.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a beautiful setup. And it kind of reminds me of Tesla too, how it's like building a base near the previous all-time high candles. You know, it's really, really nice. Yeah. Well, you want to do a lightning round, Kat?
Yeah, there's only a couple of them left. I can, if you just shoot over to me, I can just do them real quick here.
Micro machines.
Here we go, Kat.
All right, so we got Dan here asking about Clinton disease, CLDI. Basically, this is a monthly chart here. It's the Bollinger Band here being shown here with the 20-month moving average. You can see how overall it's been building up a big, giant bullish divergence over here for a very long time, and price just been plummeting down the entire time here. Well, it's because the RSI is like all the way down in like the single digits. So, just because you have bullish divergence doesn't really mean anything. But by the time where you actually get up to the 40s, you still have a bullish divergence that being up over here. It might actually mean that the downtrend is being decelerated. And you can see that the 20-month moving average is actually flattening. It's actually right back at the 20-month moving average resistance right now. Do you think this is the time for it to break out? We'll see. I don't know whether or not that's true or not. Let's go to volume. The volume seems to be somewhat supportive. It doesn't seem like we're completely exhausted. So we'll see. We're at resistance. I'm going to be a little bit cautious. I don't know whether or not this is going to be the trend-changing event, because over here you thought this was a trend-changing event, but nope, it just kept on going, making a lower low over here. So we're right at resistance, so I'm probably going to be a little bit more cautious about this. But if you want to look into this, I think it's a pretty good spot to consider gambling into it, because it's still a little bit of falling knife, but I think it's decelerating. What else do we have here? I think somebody asked about PNAW, the Pelosi special here. If I just look at this here, well, let me turn off all this stuff here. See, that's the thing. Like sometimes I just like spend some time here. I'm like, man, like I left a lot of really dirty laundry here. So I'm just going to turn all these things off here, and I'm just going to do a fit level here, and you can see how it got rejected by readers all-time high over here. I think it probably got rejected here at the 1.236 here. Well, it got close to it. Didn't really quite, get rejected there. But yeah, it's just kind of hovering in space. I think it's still positive that it's above the 0.786. That's a positive thing, but it did kind of break underneath the 20-month moving average here. So I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. I think that this big giant wick over here is telling you that there's a lot of resistance here that probably needs some time to break through. You also have a little bit of a loss of momentum here. 20-month moving average kind of flattening here a little bit. So I'm not sure whether or not you're going to bring about the previous all-time high here anytime soon, I guess is what I'm trying to say. If you also look at the Ichimoku, you're also getting a little bit loss of momentum here. You can also see that the Kijun's kind of shooting up over here. Maybe you're going to have potentially a little bit of bearish cross over here unless you really build up more momentum, flip that from resistance to support, really push up above the 180 zone and actually go up a lot higher. You might end up gravitating back towards the cloud down here. It's going to be the 160s. Is that all there is? I think that's it, right? I mean, I don't see anything else.
Oh, wow. I liked your take on CLDI there. That's one of my pet projects right now. Is it? It's sort of like BFRG.
Yeah, you like the Oval Office?
Yeah, I interviewed the CFO just last week.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say.
No. I know it's.
I'm calling this like Clinton disease, and here you go, like Tracker interviewed the CEO last week.
Here's the CFO. It's really nice.
And we got a special guest on our show right now, Kat. Let me welcome.
That's right. Coming up is CFO of CLDI. Andrew Jackson.
Oh boy, I'm sorry. I should stay more.
No. It was perfect. I'm glad I got to see your objective.
And Tracker talked about the pre-market too before all this cool stuff happened. So kudos to Tracker talking about it.
Yeah, but I think it's a good spot to end the show. I think we went for a lot of tickers. Did the requests. Let's end the show here, guys. What do you say?
Yeah. Oh, there's one more. Yeah. There's CLS. There's CLS.
CLS. What is it? Is it okay? So Celestica. So this guy's going to the well, actually, I don't know. It's kind of like the indexes where you got a lot of rejection zone over here for like 3 months in a row. So I don't know even where to even draw the fit, to be honest with you. It did come back and back test the Kijun down here, which is always a bullish thing. And it actually went back and reclaimed the Tenkan, the blue line over here, which is a bullish thing. And throughout the entire process of it coming back test here, we really was giving the bears a middle finger here. So I think that there's a lot of positive things that are building up here. I don't necessarily see that this trend is like ending. This is the weekly, and this is the monthly here too. Like this looks pretty bullish still. I wouldn't bet against it.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't bet against it.
I got a quick chart that I pulled some fibs with my GAN on it, actually.
Go for it.
Yeah, just to show you guys, look at that. 2.272 and the arc and the top of the arc. But essentially, The green level is at 173, so it is possible to keep going, but it is a pretty big resistance zone, right? Meow. So yeah, caution. And
That's
that
why
fib was
it's-
pulled.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
that
That's
fib
why
was
I'm having a
pulled
hard
from
time
here.
pushing through. Yeah. I see.
Well, and it's also the top of your Bollinger Band. It can't break back above either. So
Yeah.
your monthly Bollinger Band.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It's trying though. It's so trying.
It's trying. It's got the middle finger volume last month. So yeah, we'll see. Impressive, but would I chase this? I probably wouldn't. Not at the 2.272. You know, those people who end up buying the NVIDIA 2.272 are like suffering right now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
got to be cautious.
yeah.
For people who have the question about what that indicator that I have at the bottom of my screen, that's the MCDX Plus by Turtle Trading that Kat turned me on to. If you're interested in getting it for yourself, it's a month. Annual subscription. It's like $80 or something a year. But if you mention my name, all you have to do is like pull it up, and and you mention my name, and Turtle Trade will give you a 10% discount or something like that for the year. MCDX Plus turning tracker on. What are you typing there? That's so funny.
I'm still on the screen. I don't know why, so I'm gonna just type random things.
That's great. I love it.
Oh, Nintendo! Come on, Nintendo! There we go. New all-time highs. I think it's a Nintendo.
Nintendo 19. Is it set? Is it OSE? Is TSE in it? 7974, whatever that is. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the monthly, it looks like it's turning really bullish here. It's building a lot of momentum on increasing volume here. It's not really that overextended because it's only like 2 candles above the upper Bollinger Band. Looks like it wants to stretch it higher here. So if you look at Ichimoku, it is pretty overextended on the Ichimoku. It's very, very far away from the conversion here. Whenever it gets too far away from the conversion, I always get worried about it a little bit because usually you end up getting punished through time or price, like here, but I do worry about being a little bit overextended. I wouldn't buy, but if you already bought, maybe just monitor the trend. I do get a little bit more worried about that. I guess you can draw some fit levels here. Let's do that from like the 2021 down here. It's not really hitting any major resistance or the lock scale. It just pushed through 2.618 here on the linear, so it could go higher. But I just don't like to chase. It could go higher, but I just don't like to chase. I guess.
What do they do now in Nintendo? Why is it all-time highs? I don't even know.
Do we really need? It's the Nintendo Switch 2.
Oh,
so,
is it? Okay.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah, the console, and it's slightly larger. It's like a quarter of an.
It's like the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 15. Oh, the only difference is the Apple Intelligence.
I'll tell you, if you've already got a Switch and you haven't gotten a VR yet, I highly recommend get yourself a MetaQuest 3. Those VR, it's amazing. It's amazing. You can explore all these cool new worlds or see other places in the world, with telepresence. You can visit like the Grand Canyon. You can visit, Kathmandu or all sorts of places.
I think Cat
go inside a
wants to
volcano.
go there. Kathmandu. There's a cat in Kathmandu. Anyways, that being said, I think it's a great place to end the show.
Yeah, people might turn tracker on for more indicators. Yep.
Catman don't.
Catman, do it yourself, guys.
Catman out. I don't know.
All right.
All right, guys.
Well, thanks everybody for wasting another perfectly good evening with us.
Yeah.
We really appreciate your eyeballs.
Perfect.
Now I'm going to do
Hanging out, we have a
timestamps.
lot of
I'm going to enjoy doing that tonight. Thank you, guys.
Enjoy that.
Enjoy it.
All right, I'm going to go. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.